So get ready for some killer React interview questions. I'm your host, Code Monkey Mike, and I'm going to be going over a few React interview questions that are somewhat basic, but they're always good to know and good to brush up on. So, sometimes when we're coding, we forget how to answer some of these basic questions and basic concepts, and we don't know how to describe them sometimes, but we know how to work on the application that we're working on. So let's dive into it. Number one, what is React? So this is where we all start off. So React is an open source JavaScript library. A lot of people say framework, but it is actually just a library. And it was originally developed by Facebook. And what is it used for? It's used for developing website user interfaces. And most importantly, it simplifies the creation of single page applications. So what is a single page application? Well, a single page application is a single page application where it's not necessary to reload the page and go off into other pages if you only need to just update certain components on that page. So certain sections, if you want to update the text for a span tag or update some element on the page inside of a div tag or the title tag or whatever it may be, single page application will just keep you on the same page and only update that which is necessary. So basically on other applications, if you need to update a certain element in the page, the entire page needs to reload, but not with a single page application. And what are the advantages of React? Well, it's easy to build a single page application. And of course, it's lightweight and very fast. It uses a virtual DOM. And one of the most important things is that it has a very large community. Right? It's one of the most popular UI development frameworks. And if you ever have a problem, there's any type of bug that you need to troubleshoot, or if you need to look something up, chances are you'll get a fast response, or sometimes you can just look things up and Google it. And more often than not, without even having to ask for some help, you can actually find some post on some forum somewhere where somebody has already had the same problem that you had, and they've already found a solution. So you can just reference that through a Google search. So it's one of the most helpful languages to get help with. And some disadvantages with React? Well, the only one is it is not good for very, very small applications, right? Because if you have a very small application that has just a couple of HTML pages just to showcase something that you work with or so on, like if you're a plumber, for example, and you only need as a simple website that shows what you do and shows your contact information and so on, and you don't need a dynamic website, then it's not really worth the effort to actually develop a React application, to go into the learning curve of how to develop it, or hiring somebody that might specialize in it. If something needs to change and you got to hire somebody else that needs to it needs to change it, and it's just simply not worth it. If all you need is a simple HTML page to do something like that, then React is not a very good choice for that type of application. But for everything else, it's wonderful.
Yeah!
Interview question number 5. What's the difference between React and Angular? Well, React is a library, Angular is a framework. This is rather interesting here, because a lot of people make the mistake of saying that React is a framework, where React is actually indeed a lightweight library. React uses a virtual DOM, Angular uses a real DOM. React is smaller and lightweight and therefore faster. Angular is bigger, being a complete framework, and usually slower. React relies on third-party libraries for features. Angular is a complete framework that provides built-in support for many features. And what is a virtual DOM? This goes back to the single page application thing. While the virtual DOM is very different from the real DOM. DOM stands for Document Object Module. The real DOM is a tree of elements that the browser renders so that the user can see the actual web page. But the virtual DOM is sort of like in between the user and the real DOM. The virtual DOM sits there right in the middle, and it saves you from having to reload the whole web page. It'll only update specific elements, as we discussed with the single page application slide. It will only update specific elements that are needed to be updated based on whatever user interaction has occurred. And here are some simple questions about the structure of a React application. So what's the role of the public folder in React? Well, it contains all the static assets, the HTML, the images, the fonts, and so on. What's the role of the source folder in React? It stores all the source code of the app, and it's responsible for any dynamic changes that the application needs to do. What's the role of index.html in React? Well, this particular page is the actual entry point of the application. All components application-wide will be placed inside of this particular page, only this particular page. The root container would be responsible for containing the components of the application. And what's the role of App.js? It's the root level component of the React application, and it renders all other child components. And this is a big one. What is JSX? JSX stands for JavaScript XML. It's used to write HTML-like code. It gets transpiled into React code using the create element function. Right, so as you can see here, it turns into React code for every single tag that is made in JSX. It provides for type safety, like if you open a tag and then you rename it something else, you name it something else and you make a mistake, it's good for that. And it supports, so definitely supports JS expressions, so you can use the curly braces inside of the JXS code to process whatever JavaScript or anything dynamic that you need to do. Alright, that's it for that, and I'm definitely going to make some follow-up videos with some more React interview questions, because there's probably like 100 of them that I can throw in there, but I'm also going to get into some coding exercises too in future videos, so be sure you subscribe, and don't forget to hit that like button.